One of the most common questions I get asked is what type of glass I'm using to drink my wine out of or my whiskey out of. Tonight, I decided to do something a little bit different. I have two styles. I actually have more than this, but these are the two styles of whiskey glasses that I have. We're going to do a little head to head. We are using, though, Woodinville 100% straight rye whiskey tonight. Why? Because I'm familiar with it and I like it, and I should be able to tell the differences between the whiskey in the Glencairn and the whiskey in the Viski or JoyJolt glass. All right, rookies, this is Scott. You are tuned into the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast. And tonight, as I said in my introduction, one of the most common questions I get is what glass am I drinking out of? You know, I had some friends at work that saw my video and like, well, that's kind of a cool glass. And I asked them, well, which one did you see? What was I viewing? And a lot of times I can't remember. But I switch off between my Glencairn. For when it comes to whiskey, I switch off between four main styles. I've got a Glencairn, I've got a JoyJolt or a Viski glass. I have a Canadian Glencairn, which is in my cabinet. And then I have a little sampler glass that I got from Heaven Hill when my wife and I visited several years ago. So, what's the best way? I've never done really a product review before. So what's the best way to do a review head to head? And that is to compare them with something that I'm ultimately familiar with. One of my favorite whiskeys of all time is from Woodinville Whiskey, and it's their 100% rye whiskey. And I just so happen to have an open bottle of their cask strength at 118.90%. Now, some of you guys, excuse me, may have just seen the guys at the Whiskey Tribe at the Whiskey Vault, Daniel and Rex, review their 90 proof Woodinville Rye whiskey, and Daniel went ahead and said that this whiskey might have converted him. There's a reason why I'm drinking this tonight as a head-to-head, because I know, now like Daniel knows, this is an amazing whiskey. So I went ahead and the whiskey is aged about 5 years, but it's been sitting in my glasses now for about 10 minutes. And let's go ahead and just take a look. Now, the Glencairn has been around since 2001. Glencairn Crystal perfected this in 2001 when it actually came from a design that was 25 years older than in 2001. So that would have put it obviously in 1776. It was a design made by Raymond Davidson. Now what Glencairn Crystal did is they took his design, and with the help of the 5 largest whiskey companies in Scotland, they went ahead and perfected the design. So now the Glencairn you guys can find on Amazon. A set of 4 typically runs anywhere from $25 to $30. This is a similar design but different. It's called the Viski, or you'll also see it as JoyJolt Halo glasses. Same price, about $25 to $27 to $34 for a set of 4. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. If you take a look just straight up, there's obviously a few design differences. The Glencairn is more bulb shaped. Okay, it also has a thinner neck here, and the base here is about half the diameter of the bulb. Whereas the Viski, it's a little bit beefier down here. It's less of a bulb shaped and more of a, I would say funnel or Venturi shape. It feels a little bit sturdier, at least the base is. The base is definitely heavier on this than the Glencairn. Now the Glencairn is designed, like I said, was designed by the Scotch whiskey industry and Glencairn Crystal. If you roll the whiskey around, now this at 118 proof, it's going to have some oils. Woodinville does pot stilled whiskey. So the oils cling to the Glencairn fairly well, but there's really small legs on it, but they are slow. When it comes to this particular one, I'm going to roll it around here. Very similar. It's hanging directly on the side of the glass and very small legs. So now with the design, the Glencairn was designed to hold the aroma in and funnel it towards the nose. So let's go ahead and take a nose of this. Now, Woodinville Rye Whiskey, Viski Whiskey. Um, boy, that's beautiful. Now at 118 proof, there is a lot of alcohol burn on this particular nose, but you have floral notes, spice notes, almost cinnamon, nutmeg, candied peanut, or candied, not peanut, oh, candied almonds maybe. It's very light. There's a cherry note on here, and then there is a deep, dark sugar note, almost that really dark molasses. It hangs on there. Now, with regard to this one here, the notes are the same, but because of the shape, I don't get as much alcohol burn, and I think it evaporates probably a little bit faster in this glass than probably the Glencairn. But I still get the same intensity of the nose. I get that floral note, the cinnamon, the allspice, the nutmeg, the cherry, the dark molasses, the candied almonds. Ah, boy. So, that being said, let's see how it tastes. Out of the Glencairn, right up front, that alcohol hits you, and then it turns into that sweet almond note. The floral is right there, and I'm not getting nutmeg or allspice anymore, but it's all cinnamon. It's almost like a cinnamon. What are those hot cinnamon candies? And mixed with that nutty almond note. Anyways, God, I love this rye whiskey. So let's go ahead and see what it tastes like out of here, out of the Viski or the JoyJolt. And I call it a Viski, V-I-S-K-I, or a JoyJolt, because that's the two names that I've seen in there. Now, I purchased these glasses actually when I went to the Oregon Knife Collector Show back in April, and I didn't want to drink whiskey out of a red Solo cup, so I found these at the liquor store. So, that's right, hot tamales of that cinnamon candy. So, anyways, let's go ahead and taste this. The same intense flavor, but I don't get the alcohol burn right up front like I did on the Glencairn. It's there, don't get me wrong, it is there. But I think because of the design shape, that alcohol burns off a little bit faster in this particular glass here. Now, when I put it up to my mouth, I do have to mention this, and I don't know if the camera will pick this up. The lip on the Glencairn is relatively thin. I'm sorry, thick. Whereas the lip on the Viski is much thinner. Okay? And I don't know if that really affects the flavor. I do know that this is a little bit more delicate to the lips than the Glencairn. So now let's go ahead and see what a little bit of water does in these glasses. I'm just going to pour just a little drop in both. Whoops. That's a cap full, so I gotta be careful. One. There we go. Like I said, I always like to use bottled water because it's also consistent. Let's see here. It's probably proof down to about 105, I would guess. Ah, there we go. Very, very little alcohol on the nose now. But the flavors have come through with that Woodinville. Much more floral now. Very little cinnamon. The cherry pops, though. That water's really made the cherry pop. Now let's go and take a look at the Viski here. Same thing. Except now, instead of the... so I'm not getting the alcohol, but now I'm getting a much more brown sugar molasses note. And the cherry versus the floral, which is what I got more here of. That's interesting. I wonder what would cause that. My whiskey dog. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a sip now. See if the flavors change. I know the flavors changed, obviously with adding water to it, but I want to see if the Glencairn has done. If it's different between the two glasses, obviously. Almost no alcohol burn now. That's actually probably closer to 100, between 100 and 105 proof. The floral is definitely there. The cinnamon, the spice, yeah, definitely the Glencairn is got its due. Let's go ahead and see what it's done with this here. And you guys, by the way, you'll notice I always nose right before I sip to it. I just like to prime that pump. Butt scratch on the dog. He likes it. Okay, same thing. The alcohol burn has gone away. Well, he's now bumping the camera. Buck, hey, sit. Come here. Sit. Anyways, same thing. No alcohol, or very little alcohol burn anymore. But definitely the flavor has changed. There is a slight difference. And I don't know if it's got to be because of the shape. I just don't know what the shape has to do with it. My personal opinion, I'll be honest with you, I guess, like I said, I'm so familiar with this whiskey. I have probably, of the cask strength, I probably have 4 bottles of this particular one, 3 of which I've personally bottled at the distillery. This is a store-bought version, so this would be a blend of multiple barrels. You know, between the two of them, I've got fairly large hands. I like them both. I love my Glencairns and I love my Viskis. But for a daily drinker, this one here, for my larger style hands, it's more substantial in the hand. This one here is a little bit more delicate. I'd be more afraid to drop this one than this one. Now, I'm not going to do a drop test at all, obviously. So, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to put down links below to my affiliate page for both a set of 4 for the Glencairns and for a set of the Joy. I believe it's going to come up as JoyJolt or Viski. Anyways, so I'll put an affiliate link down below in the description if you guys want to go and take a look at them. Help support the channel if you wanted to buy these. Now, when I bought these at the store, I paid $15 for a set of 2 of them. So, that being said, please go ahead. What are your guys' opinions? Do you have this glass here? Do you like this one? Do you not like this one? Do you just prefer the Glencairn, which is universally accepted by almost every distillery in the world as something that you'll be sipping out of? Or do you want to try something new? Go ahead and comment down below. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. That's going to help other people find it. And then if you want to see more of this content, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. I am desperately trying to get to 100 subscribers. The moment I get to 100 subscribers, I'll be able to do live video. And I'll be honest with you, there's a gentleman who I'm going to post a link to his channel down below. It's Whiskey Al. He is in Ireland. Him and I talk regularly. And I want you guys to go ahead and hit his channel as well. Help him get to 100 subscribers. Also, hit the bell button. When you guys do subscribe, the bell button's going to come up. You hit the bell button, you guys are going to get notified when I go ahead and upload new videos. So that being said, Glencairn or Viski? I'm going to go put the rest of this right in there. I want to make sure I get every last drop. I'm not going to get rid of my Glencairns, but tonight I'm drinking an American craft rye whiskey. I want something in a little hefty of a glass. So that being said, as always, please drink responsibly. And life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey. And soon, I am going to do a full review of the Woodinville 100% straight rye whiskey, cask strength. Tonight was just kind of a glass on glass. Glass, mono, glass, mono. Anyways, enough of that. Cheers. Like I said, life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey. Salant. Have a great night.